Hello. Welcome back. I am sorry. I've been so busy lately. I didn't get to stream last weekend, and I'm really sorry about that. So hopefully this stream kind of makes up for it, and I'm excited to do today's stream. First things first. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you should go ahead and do that so you can get plenty more bullet journaling content. Secondly, if you want to watch any of my previous streams, because Twitch doesn't really let me keep them for super long, they're all on my YouTube channel, which is also L.I.L's Journaling. And then thirdly, this is some sad news. I also won't be able to stream this coming Saturday because I have some family stuff, like my brother-in-law is getting married, so I gotta go to his wedding and stuff, so I will not be able to stream this weekend either. So I'm sorry about that. I hope the stream makes up for it, but I promise, like, after this ends, once summer's over, my streams will be a bit more consistent because I won't have lots of family visiting and such. So yeah, let's just get straight into today's activities. So on Instagram, I did a poll of like what you guys wanted to do on the stream, and it was decided that we'll do card decorating. So that's what we're doing. Our materials is I have these blue sticky notes which will come in handy during this process. I'm gonna kind of use them as a stencil. And then I have some king art markers, as you guys can see here, in the colors yellow, some greens, and a pink. And then I have 2 Sharpies, a yellow and a pink, and a pencil. I don't know where I got this pencil from, but it was custom with my husband and I's initials on it, which I think is really cute. So 10 out of 10. I also have my ruler, a blank card. This is kind of made out of cardstock. It's a thicker paper. I'm not sure exactly what kind of paper it is, but you guys can use, like, if you want to decorate along, you can kind of get your own piece of paper. And then I have this clipboard here that's going to hold my card in place, and so I don't have my markers bleed directly onto the table. They're going to bleed onto this. And it's an extra clipboard is like the most important part when it comes to like my journaling and stuff, because if I don't want stuff to bleed through, this is the way to do it. So I'm going to secure the card in place. And we are going to, why isn't this straight? I'm going to fix this, 1 sec. There we go. Yes? No. No. It's going to be a little wobbly. There we go. That's better. Okay. So, for this lovely card decorating, I have my kind of design here. Recently, I went to this quilting store that opened up nearby, and it got me really excited, and I was like, yo, I can't quilt, but boy are these patterns cute, because I love craft stores and stuff. And so I went to this quilting store, and I was like, I should get a quilting book, not because I want to start learning to quilt eventually, but I want a quilting book now because I like the patterns and I want to recreate them. And eventually I want to create a quilting patterned theme, like monthly theme. I'm not there yet. It's a lot of work. But I kind of got obsessed with the patterns I did see in quilting stores, and so now I have been, I decorated a friend's card with a quilting pattern, a pen pal card that I did with them, and I'm going to decorate this card with a quilting pattern today. And so that's just kind of been my vibe recently with drawing, so that's what we're doing. So the first step is I am taking my ruler and I am doing 1/4 inch. Yeah, I'm doing 1/4 inch to make across, marking them on this side, and then I'll mark them on this side, and then I'll draw the lines so that I can see, so we got perfect little squares. We got a nice grid. So that's what I'm starting with, by the way. Yeah. But I've low-key been obsessed with quilting patterns. because in like the quilting books, they'll like show you the quilt, but then they'll also like give you like this plain looking grid that's just like color coordinated of like, oh, this is the border color and these are all these colors and all that jazz. And I was like, yo, I like this because it's like cool patterns and it's kind of like pixel art. So I'm kind of going with that vibe and making a bunch of quilts in drawings now. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now let's draw these lovely lines. Is this a tedious process? Heck yeah, it will be. But is it going to be fun? Oh yeah. And is this something that relatively most people could do if they're willing to spend a lot of time doing this? Yes. This is going to be great. So I've been playing around with this quilt idea, and I did mention that I did do it in letter. I have a couple of these blank cards, and I think in like the next day or two on Instagram I'll post a time lapse of me creating one of these quilting cards, and it's one that I created for a friend. And the main issue I've had with these quilting patterns is I'll do it where it like zigzags up the page, and then but I can never get it even somehow. Like as much as I try it, like I'm always like off, and it's already too late for me to fix it. So that's how it's going. Let me show you. I'll show you guys an example real quick. This was like a practice cover page for August 2022, and I did the quilting pattern in the back, and you can see all these boxes are different shapes and sizes, and there's weird 4 right there when there's usually lines here. So that's my main issue with these quilting patterns, with this zigzag pattern. Today I'm going to do a simpler pattern that won't have this issue, hopefully. It's just going to be stripes. But that's kind of the main issues I've had. So I'm still working on it so that I could make it a full monthly theme. And maybe that's like, ooh, it might be my January theme. Or December. I'm not sure. Or November. November sounds good. There's some monthly themes I've already like pre-planned or picked out. For example, September I've already picked out, and I've also already picked out October's because it's Halloween, and I'm freaking excited for Halloween. Oh, I'm so excited for Halloween, guys. You don't understand. So I've like at the beginning of August, I'm like, I want to create my September and October spreads already because I want to use the spooky colors and the fall colors, and I have a whole Happy Planner sticker pack that is entirely fall themed, so it has stickers for September, October, and November, and it's gorgeous, and I got it like, I think I got it last Christmas, so I haven't been able to use them for a whole year, and I've been so sad because it's like I want to use these, but I can't because it's not fall, and I want to save them so I can make the cutest fall spreads ever. And so as we get closer and closer to September, I'm so ready. I'm so ready to just get into it and just get into fall vibes. If you like asked my husband, I'm kind of driving him crazy because I'll like go somewhere with him and I'll see like ever so slight, like one leaf has fallen, or like one branch has like a couple slightly yellow leaves, greenish yellow leaves, and I'll be like, Dallin, it's fall! And he'll be like, Lydia, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it is. Or we had a couple rainy days, and I was like, Dallin, it's fall! And he's like, no, it's not. You need to chill out. And I'm like, no, it is. It's time. We're done with summer. I don't like summer. Summer is not my favorite. But fall, boy, am I excited. And the only reason I don't really like summer is just I like having the time off, especially as a student, but I don't like summer because it's too hot. And for the longest time, we did not have air conditioning in our apartment, so summer was literally the worst. But now we do, so I'm kind of okay with summer. But I prefer fall. Fall, I think, is the best season. I'm so excited. I got all these cute, I get to pull out all my fall mugs. I get to drink hot cocoa without absolutely melting myself even more, because I'll drink hot cocoa in the summer sometimes. But, y'all, I just can't. But like in the winter, I get my hot cocoa, and then this is my ideal hot cocoa mix. The way to kind of make it is you either get hazelnut creamer or you get vanilla creamer. Like the coffee creamer stuff. I don't drink coffee, but boy is it so heavenly in hot chocolate. And you just put a little bit in each. I love hot chocolate. It's so good. I'm so excited for fall. I have this, I don't have it with me. I should have had it prepared. But last month, not last month, it was this month. Was it? I'm not sure. I went to, the downtown area of where I live, and we went to this boutique, and I think it was called Love at First Bite or something. Anyway, it was like one of those crazy home goods stores. It's like filled to the brim with goodies and like crazy things like hedgehog, measuring cups, and avocado salt and pepper shakers that like the pepper has the little ball that's in the avocado, the thing I forget the name of, and then you can and the salt doesn't, so you can push them together to make a whole avocado. And they just have all this cute. They had they had dinosaur like cookie baking trays, and one that looked like a tractor, because that's just how it be. But they had all this cute stuff, and I got this orange mug that said Morning Pumpkin, and I love it. And that's what I'm gonna say to my husband like every day this summer, and it's gonna be great. Okay, I'll pause my fall rant so you guys know what we're doing. So essentially I've done all my lines here, and the reason I did them in pencil is because when I use the marker, it will most likely like cover up all these lines, so you won't actually see them as well. But since I am kind of using a yellow, it may not cover up all of them, but that's okay. You need this grid so you can see what you're doing, and so it can have that cool pixely effect. And so, but what I do want is I want some leaves on this, so I'm going to take this leaf and I'm going to trace it in 2 spots on this lovely quilt. So, and I'm doing it also in pencil as best I can. If you guys don't have because these are not sticky notes, they were I think they're just little note thingies, so I thought they were sticky notes when I bought them, but they're not. And so I'm just going to trace this. If you don't have this, what you could do instead is print out a leaf and then trace it. Hello. You could print out a leaf online, cut it so it's in its shape, and then trace it. Or you could also like if you drew the leaf shape, you could also take some washi tape and fill in the leaf and kind of cut off washi tape so it's in the shape of the leaf, and that could also be a way you hold it. I'm just going to trace it so you can kind of see there's a faint leaf right there, and I'm going to do one more. And so this can function two ways. And it kind of depends on like if you have a purpose for this card, or if you're like, I just want to make a cute card that I'll like send to my friend. It's up to you. Like if you have a pen pal, or I sent letters to my husband when we were dating during COVID. So trace your leaves. So these can act two ways. So one, if you have something you want to say on the card, like thank you, hello, or like put someone's name, these leaves are like tracing these leaves out. These are the spots you could do it. And like you have your main quilt background, and then these are their own separate things with like titles and anything you want to say on the front of the card. Maybe you say to so and so from me, and that type of thing. So that's what these leaves can be used for. They can also just be added decoration. So what I'm going to be doing is, we're going to take this out. So I have my two leaves. I'm going to be taking my two main colors here, pink and yellow, and I'm going to just be striping the grid. So doing pink and yellow, do stripes all across. And then what I'm going to do with my leaves is I'm going to do these two greens, and I'm going to stripe the leaves the other way, just so they kind of pop, and so they're kind of like a part of the quilt in that way, and they're just cute and cozy. So that's what I'll be doing. And my color palette, I've low-key been obsessed. So Archer and Olive came out with their like summer stuff a little while back, and one of them is this pink, it's a yellow notebook that has a Vespa on it, and then pages are like, they have sprayed edges and they're pink, and my brain saw that and it went pink lemonade, and I've been obsessed with that pink lemonade color palette since. So here's my pink lemonade and my like leaves to kind of go on the lemon or like mint or something. But yeah, so I've kind of been obsessed with this color palette recently, so that's what I'm doing this card with, and that's why I chose it. You guys can choose your own color palette. Maybe you're doing more of a fall themed one, which I would love to see it. I love fall things. I love all things fall. Yeah. Okay. That's that. So, next way that this works is, since my card is kind of faced me like this, I'm going to have the stripes going like that across the page. So basically every other one is going to be pink, and so those ones are going to be yellow, and I'm going to start by marking off these bottom ones, and I'm just doing a dot so I know which ones I'm doing, and then we'll go up across. Wow. So I'm going to start doing that so you guys can see. I have marked every other one with a dot, and I'm starting my pink stripes now. And the reason I kind of do it with a dot, just so I know exactly what to color in, and I don't get mixed up. And if all things go well, this side should also have the every other one type thing. So, as you guys get to your leaves, so with the leaves, I am going to do like the corner and the edges. So this box right here, most of it's leaf, but there's a little bit where the pink would go, so I'm still going to put a dot in the area where the pink would go, so I know that it's still color in that area. But I'm not going to touch anywhere inside the leaf. But I just gotta think a little harder to make sure that I'm doing the right ones. For example, this one messed with my head because it's all through the leaf. So we're going to go up here and just connect them, because this side should also be, every other one is going to be pink. So I came up this way until I got to leaf, and then I came down. And that should be that run. And now I have to cross through 2 leaves. Oh golly. Golly gee. And so when it gets to this corner, you'll get along the top here too now as you're continuing upwards, and it should also keep with every other one. It's just getting harder for my brain. And if you're like, so my leaves are like right here, so there's this spot here where it's hard to tell. I also know that I can go diagonally this way too. It's just all diagonal. Okay, now that I think about it, as much as I wanted this to be striped, I'm not sure if it will. It may look more like a checkerboard, just because I didn't make my stripes big enough. Okay, that's fine. This is all, my streams are all about making messy mistakes, because that's what I'm good at. You came here for clean bullet journaling content? Well, you were wrong. You're not getting that. Or not, well, like, neat bullet journaling. You're gonna get messy stuff. Nice. Either way, I think this will look cute. Okay. Cool. Kinda got in the zone, sorry. Now this is my least favorite part, because now you've marked all the boxes you're going to use, and now you got to color them all in. So I kind of have found a method that kind of helps me the best, and that is by just going through and marking a bunch of the edges of some of them, and then going through and like, you can kind of see my little staircase here, and then I go back down said staircase. And then what I would do is color that in. So I'm I'm probably just going to do this in sections of sorts, and color, and do my staircase and color and all that stuff. Sorry about that. So yeah. And with the leaves, make sure to try and curve the best you can if you are doing leaves or something on top. Curve the best you can with the leaves and that type of thing. One other recommendation with this. So if you got like a nice darker color and then you got a really light color that, like if you're doing two colors, so I have a kind of darker pink and then a yellow, I'm going to do the pink first and color that in individually. But then kind of when it comes to the yellow, since it's lighter than the pink and won't like, if I color over it, it doesn't necessarily like change the shade of the pink too much. It does a little, but not too much, that it kind of makes it easier to do the lighter shade second. I don't know if that made sense. Here, wait, I got it. This makes sense. So here, I just did 3 shades of purple. So I did these, like the darkest and middle purple first. And then what I could do with the lighter purple is I could just go in and scribble it in and fill it in like that, because it didn't really affect the darker shades of purple. So if you guys are doing this with the other colors or in your own way, like try to do the darker color first. Yeah. And your boxes don't have to be perfect. It's okay. Even with the ruler, my lines don't end up straight. It's fine. Just have a good time. And this, I would say, is a lovely project to do while, like, I don't know if you guys are like me, but my brain likes to multitask or do like 20 things at once. And so when it comes to kind of watching shows, I can watch shows I've never seen before, like by themselves. Like I can just binge watch it, like, okay, I've never seen this, I'm gonna watch it all the way through. But if I've seen it before and I want to rewatch, or some things I'm like, I want to do something else while I watch this is something I like doing. Like this whole quilting pattern thing. It's kind of mind-numbing, it's relaxing, it's chill. It makes you feel like you can quilt even though you can't. Well, I can't. I don't know if you guys can. If you guys can, props to you. My aunt quilts. She's great at it. She makes cute blankets and stuff. And I've always wanted to learn from her. I just never got the chance. Maybe I will learn in the future. do know how to sew, but not like sew super well. I know some basics, like what is it? I know how to turn old jeans into shorts. Like if they have a rip at the knee, I know how to like make them into nice usable shorts. I've made a skirt before, and like a apron. I've made a couple aprons, I think. What else have I done? I've made pillowcases. I've made a lot of those. Did that for a service project. I've made reusable pads also for a service project. I haven't been able to like make, oh, and I've made a heating pad or a cooling pad thingy. When I went to the quilt shop for the first time, it was their opening day, and they had goodie bags with like little bits of fabric, so I took some of the fabric and I made this heating pad thingy. And basically I just filled it up with rice, because dry rice and stuff. And so like I can pop it in the microwave and it acts as a heating pad if I need it, or I can leave it in the freezer and it's a great way to cool off. So yeah, I've made that too. I'm not much of a sewer, but I can do some basic things, and I appreciate that skill. And I think it's a good skill to have, especially like or like just knowing some basic sewing. For example, I don't know how many of you guys have this issue, but if you have thicker thighs, you tend to get holes like right where your thighs rub up against each other on your like leggings and jeans and stuff. So being able to like, I always hate it when I like lose a pair of jeans or leggings to that, so I've learned how to kind of sew so I can fix that issue as well in my life. It's pretty great. Of course, there's a time you do need to give out the jeans and get a new set because stuff, the hole just isn't holding up, but it's a good easy fix. Or being able to sew on a button. I wonder if my husband's capable of that. I know he had to learn in like scout camp and stuff. I wonder if he remembers. Who knows? Not me. Let's talk books. So, last Friday, I did, first last week, because I guess I wasn't able to update you all on reading as much last week, because I had to cancel stream. But last week I read 2 books, completed both of them. I read 1,000 Steps into Night, which was a little bit, I wouldn't call it a thriller, but it did like have demons and some gore and murder and stuff, so wasn't too bad though. Like it's young adult, so it wasn't like super gory and super bad. It was called 1,000 Steps into Night. It was kind of based in Japan, the storyline, and like because it had like demons and monsters and spirits and all that stuff. So I know it was like Japanese based. I just don't know like how accurate it is to Japanese culture and stuff. So, but I do know that is where some of the stuff is based and all that jazz. I liked the book a lot. One of the main things I liked about this book is it did have some words, I think Japanese words and stuff, and I was like, I don't know what this means or the purpose of it. And they had little footnotes to define things, and like, this is what this means, and this is what this implies, even though it means this, and all that jazz. And I was like, I really appreciated that, because I wasn't expected to like directly know what everything means and what it does. Just kind of like, okay, here you go. Because there are some books where it's like, it does take place in like another culture, and they just kind of like say, oh, this is what this means and stuff, or this is this, and you're like, okay, but what does that mean? And it does get kind of annoying, because I want to enjoy books from other cultures, and I can't do that if I don't know what they mean. And sometimes I'm just like, and I can go and like look up the words and stuff, and I know that I can do that. But you know, sometimes you just want to be able to like know what it is while you're reading it without having to be confused. You know, like I look up words and figure out the meaning of things when I'm in my English classes, not when I'm reading a book for fun. So yeah. And I think in the stream before when I was talking about Ghibli movies with said book, I did mention how it was very like pushy with the feminism stuff. It kind of resolved that. It wasn't as pushy. Like it was okay. It kind of resolved that issue of being like, oh well, this is super feminism and all that jazz. Like it stopped being like, this is her trial and she can't complete it because she's a woman, and this is her trial and she can't complete it because she's a woman, and all that jazz. Like it stopped doing that, which I was very happy about that. I will say, one thing that does bother me with books is I totally get having like, one thing that makes Shakespeare great is that he has two plots. He has like the main plot that focuses on the characters, but then he also has like a worldly plot that kind of having the second plot of like something that's just happening in the world behind him. Like your characters can be going to school, but maybe there is behind them in the world there's a storm coming, or there's a sorry, I just heard a noise and I got spooked. Maybe there's a storm coming, maybe there's a political debate going on, maybe there's some sort of issue they're dealing with in the world. Doing that makes the story like more alive and makes it more real, because your world isn't just revolving around the characters, it's moving on its own. And it will strike, like the storm will happen, the riot will happen, whatever. The world will like have its unrest. Whatever happens with the characters, like it will have its own thing. Like, and it will affect the characters, but it's not the characters doing that causes the unrest. It's the world just happening. And I like it when books do that, because then I'm like, hey, this is legit what happens. Like, yes, you have your world that revolves around you and what happens around you, but sometimes other things come up. And you just gotta deal with that it happened, and you're like, you gotta deal with the world and things that happened in it, and you're like, heck, how does this now fit into my life? For example, COVID. We all had our lives going on in 2020. We had our plot going forward, and the world had other plans, and that messed with ours, and it changed the course of all of our actions and stuff. And it happened naturally. I like it when books do that type of thing. It's kind of my favorite. And Shakespeare does it really well. He does it in Othello. He does it in a couple others, but I know he does it in Othello for sure, because I remember that one just being a tempest, and I'm like, tensions are high in court, and now there's a storm coming? oh no, what could that mean? And then the tempest always comes at the same time as the climax. It's a good thing when shows do this, when the world keeps moving and affects the characters, and the characters don't directly affect the whole world. I do like books where like characters are like, oh, we need to save the world and all that jazz. I do like that too. But I really like it when pieces like have that extra plot line going on in the background. So, A Thousand Steps Into Night has this extra plot line. And if you could not tell, it is just kind of this like this issue with feminism and women not being treated equally. Like the main character can't go into the library because women can be educated but not too educated in their society. Or like women can't go out by themselves. They need a husband, a father, or a brother to accompany them like anywhere they go. So that's one of the main things. So I kind of got the purpose of that plot point. It didn't bother me as much, but I was a little iffy on the ending. Because there are some good authors, some great authors actually, what they'll do with this secondary plot point is it will affect them and it will be resolved, but maybe it's the characters who actually go and fix this issue. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, now the world's ending, we need to fix this first, and somehow that also fixes their main plot issue, that type of thing. Or it's a storm and the storm ends naturally. Like, the secondary plot has a good natural ending along with the first plot. And I like it when that happens. What I didn't like about A Thousand Steps Into Night is the way they ended their second plot was very much like, and because we saved the day, everything is fixed now. And I'm like, what? It's like, you know what? We just saved the world, so now women have rights. And I'm like, that's not how that works. And it's like, well, she saved the prince. And I'm like, what? That's not how that works. It's like, well, she did this. And since this was a female that saved the day, obviously all men have lost any sexism they had in their bones, and now everything's fine. I'm like, that's not how that works. Like, it just had such a neat wrap-up that I was like, I didn't like it. I was like, okay, you can't give me this happily ever after crap after, like, talking about how sexist, like, every man was ever in this society except for, like, the spirits. Like, seriously? That's what got me. What I did find interesting, though, I do want to talk about this. In a lot of books, there's a trope of the temptress, which is usually a female, and she tempts our hero from straying from what he's supposed to be doing, to do his, to kind of do what they want. Like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you should come do this because it's relaxing, you deserve a break, you're a hero. And the temptress, it's a temptress. It's always a girl, it's always a woman, and it always, like, usually it's like a sexual thing, like, oh, I'm gonna, and like, they always kind of did that. And this, A Thousand Steps Into Night had a temptress, but it was a guy. It was the main guy, and he's like, and he was like, I drank my respect woman juice, which is why you should turn into a demon for me, and I kind of liked that. He's like, he was a good tempter because he was like, hey, I respect women, and I'm the bad guy, so you should join me and not be a hero. And I like that a lot in the book. It was really nice. It was a good change of pace for, like, tempter, temptress type vibes. So I think that book did good there. It did pretty good. It's not like I'm going to hate this book forever and I never want to read it again. It was like a solid 4 stars. Just like some things that just kind of bugged me as a person. Oh, did I just get marker on my face? Huh. Sorry. Okay. But yeah, that's that book. What else did I read? I read on Instagram, I did my readathon last Friday, the 12th, and I read, that had a long title. The Color of the Sky is the Shape of Your Heart, or Shape of Your Heart? I think that's the name of it. I need to double check. It had a really long title, and it was confusing. Yeah, The Color of the Sky is the Shape of the Heart. The heart, not your heart, it's the heart. But I did a readathon. It was a quick, short read. My thoughts first on the readathon, because you guys did already get my thoughts on Instagram on the book itself, and I'll be making a highlight for it there, so you guys don't have to be like, oh, what were my thoughts on that book. I'll make a highlight for that, so you guys can revisit it if you didn't get to read along with me. But my thoughts on the my brain's not working. My thoughts on the readathon. Haha, there we go. I did enjoy it, but it was a little overwhelming, because I did the readathon, and I started like 10:30, and I think it ended at 3 was my plan, and that's how it went. But I thought it'd be a faster read than it was, because like it took me some time to kind of like make sure that I'm reading the right stuff, and so it did kind of like wear me out by the end of the readathon. I was like exhausted, and I didn't want to read anymore. I was like, I'm not picking up another book today, and maybe tomorrow I might not even pick one up because I'm tired. So it really wore me out. Overall, and then like I had a couple other things to do during the day, like around lunchtime I was like, oh yeah, I gotta make lunch, eat my lunch, but also make sure I read the allotted pages in the time, and which also wore me out. Or I had to run an errand and then also read the allotted pages that I picked out and stuff, and it didn't. And I know like I kind of picked the timing for it. It was good to see how it worked for me and how it didn't. I thought, part of me was like, oh, I can't. I'm reading 25 pages in an hour. Like, I feel like that's too little. But I found out like that's what I could do, because that would take me like half an hour to 45 minutes to read those pages. And then I would also need to like, sometimes I read more than 25, but that's about what I read. It'd take me like half an hour, and then I'd have to like run do other things. I had stuff on my to-do list. It was a little overwhelming. It was. So, it kind of was a lot. It didn't wear me out for last Saturday though. The readathon wasn't the thing that like wore me out that I couldn't stream. The main reason I couldn't stream last Saturday was I hadn't gotten as much done during the week, and I just had a lot to do on Saturday and catch up on and prepare for, that I just couldn't stream. I was a little busy. So I'm sorry about that. My other thoughts on the readathon is I did enjoy it, but I don't think it's something I'm going to necessarily do again on Instagram, as much as I enjoyed it. If anything, in the future, I may do like way in the future. This is way in the future. I don't think I'm anywhere near this yet, but one day I may do like, I'll like get a Patreon or something, and I'll do readathons on there, or reading sprints, as some booktubers call it, and just kind of hop on there and read more and talk about what I've read there, and not on Instagram. I don't think Instagram is the platform I want to do it, and I don't really want to do it on stream. I want to just keep bullet journaling vibes on here, and the most you'll get when it comes to books is just me talking about what I've read recently and talking about what I've read. Oh, hello, I missed you. Talking about what I've read and making book reading journal spreads and stuff, so that's that. Guys, we're almost done with the pink. We're like an hour in. We haven't even touched the leaves or the yellow yet. It's okay. We're gonna finish this stream. Maybe a bit longer, but we're gonna do it. But yeah. And then I wanted to talk about one other book. It was Forestborn. It is the book that I'm currently reading. I think I started it last Saturday or Sunday. But I read like a little bit of it, kind of exhausted, and I was like, don't really want to read right now because I'm tired of reading. But I read a couple more chapters last night, and now I'm like, oh, I need the rest of this. And I am like hooked on this book. I'm ready to binge it. I'm pretty sure we got an enemies to lovers romance going, and I am so excited. I'm all for this. So I'm excited for this book. And I am probably after stream I'm gonna try and read more of it. But I also have to do things. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. But I'm excited. It's essentially it's a fantasy. Kind of gave me weird COVID vibes, but only because there's a disease that's like killing certain people in this world, and they're like, we don't know what's happening. And my brain, because COVID happened so recently, was like, oh my gosh, that's like COVID vibes. I don't know. That's just me. I can't read books with pandemics in it without thinking of COVID. That's my fate. But yeah, so I started reading it. It's got that. It's got a pandemic going on. Enemies to lovers. It's a fantasy. And magical beings are strongly disliked in this society. And of course, what are our main characters? Magical beings. And they can shapeshift and they work for the king and stuff. And there's rumors that they may be tied. There's like 3 kingdoms in this book. And to make sure that they don't like go all out on war with each other, they do get to have fight for magical power and stuff. They have a prophecy done every year that they hold together. And for the past couple years, it's been like the same prophecy, and they think the 2 main characters are like connected to it. So that's what's going on. And so the main characters are trying to find a cure for this disease, while also trying to deal with the fact that they may be connected to a prophecy that may have caused said disease on accident. So it's kind of spooky. I've liked it so far. It's been good. I want to keep reading, mostly because I'm getting enemies to lovers vibes, and I'm very excited. That's what I want. I've been needing a romance like that, and I have been given it, and I'm so excited. So yeah. And then, if I do finish this book, just called Forestborn, I will have finished 4 books this month. And one of my main goal was for this month is, if I finish 4 books Then I will let myself buy the final book in the, what's it called? The Inheritance Games series, which is called The Final Gambit. It comes out on the 30th of this month, right? I'm looking in my planner. I'm pretty sure it's the 30th. Planner, tell me your secrets. Yes, it's the 30th. So, it comes out on the 30th this month. I'm excited. I want it. I need to know what happens. I'm curious. So, I'm going to hopefully finish this book and then convince my husband to let me get this new book and buy it. And I think if I pre-order it, it's cheaper on like Amazon or something, so I'm excited for that. And that's definitely going to be one of my logical reasons of why I should be allowed to buy this book. And then I will also say, like, hey, if you let me buy this book, you can buy this game. The game you want. The video game. And then he'll be like, ah, good bargain. And that's how that will go. That's usually how it goes. That's how I got my Amanda Rachley acrylographs. I was like, hey, you should let me buy this thing. I know it's expensive, but you should. And then I will let you buy something equally then you can buy this thing, which is equally expensive and you want it. And that's how that went. And that is how I got my Amanda Rachley acrylographs, and that is how I will get this new book. And I will give him kisses too, and then that will also convince him. Guys, we did it. We did the pink part. Now we gotta go in and do the yellow. This part's a little easier because I don't have to like dot out all the boxes because I can already see all the boxes I need to do and stuff, so yeah. And I'm gonna start doing these edges. But yeah. It looks so cute. My brain has been obsessed with this color palette. But like, I didn't like get obsessed with this color palette until like after I did my August setup. And I was like, dang it, this would have been perfect for August. It's got summery vibes. But that's okay. I do like my green August. Maybe this may be a spread I do like next summer and something. A pink lemonade theme. Okay, now I'm gonna do yellow is going a lot faster. And so far you can't really see the pencil markings, like they're kind of visible, but it looks cute. That's now if you wanted to go above and beyond and you did want to like make your lines known of where you kind of did the lines for these lovely cubes, you could have done it in like a black pen, marker, Sharpie, whatever, and like it would have given it a little bit more definition. And that's up to you if you have that style of like liking to outline things. But I don't want to do it for mine. It looks very like quilty, blankety, picnic blanket vibes. So that's why I kind of do it the way I do. And I guess like even though the squares are sometimes different sizes, because maybe I wasn't holding my ruler super straight and that type of thing, it still's got like the blanket vibes, because it's like, oh, these are different quilting fabrics I cut, and they may not be all the same size, and that's okay, or maybe they were sewn, like, so they're not the same size, and that's okay too. So in the future with this design, because I kind of wanted the strips vibe and less of a checkered feeling. So what I'm going to do is when I get to the leaves, is I'm going to do like 2 or 3 boxes wide of one color, so that it gives more of a stripey vibe. We'll see how that turns out. Halfway done with the yellows. Ooh, exciting thing. I think it was like September 1st. I would have to like double check. I think that was the first day I started my Instagram and I posted there. And I'm very happy with it. And I think I should probably do like, I don't need to, but I might want to do like a year look back thingy where I compare this September to last September. And it's just like a video I add upon year after year and stuff, so I may do that on Instagram. I should probably plan that. Ha! So when it comes to content planning for me, a couple things. One, luckily I've kind of been in the groove where I've been like creating so many things, because I've just been like, oh, let's just unleash my creativity when it comes to bullet journaling, that I've had plenty of content to post and create, and talk about, so I've been able to post consistently and that type of thing. And I've had crazy ideas. I'm like, oh, I want to do this and this and this, and I'll make a video about this, and I'll do this. So I've been pretty good when it comes to that on Instagram. However, and like, I was in like a creative slump last week, so I wasn't being super creative in general, but I had like created enough content in advance that I could still keep posting, and so I was like very happy and grateful for that. But where was I going with this? My brain lost track. Talking about your anniversary and stuff. Content creation. I don't know where I was going with this. I know my content creation skills have improved throughout the years. So that's been good. Okay, quick color tester. That's the darker one? Yes? Yes. Okay, dark one first. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to make these actual strips by making them thicker. So I'm doing 3 cubes across, and then I'll do next 3, so 1. I'm doing all the color marking now so I can actually see which ones are 3 over. This guy. Okay. And then because I want to mix it up, this leaf is going to be diagonal the other way for funsies. And I've done some coloring in because they're edge pieces and I want to make sure I remember that they're there. So, or they're part of the cube is just too small to leave a dot in, then I'll just color it in now. Now, to color. And these ones aren't going to take as long because they're bigger chunks. And like if I continue with the cube method, I'll like have a nice little chunky area to color in. And I'm doing the darker colors first because then it'll be easier to color in the lighter ones. Because if you do the lighter ones first, then for me at least, my fear is that like when I'm doing the darker ones secondly, I'm just like, oh, what if I like mess up and I get it in? Like if I mess it up, like the darker color may get all over the lighter one, and cover it up. Like that's just my fear. So I do the darker ones first, and then I can like, and then I'll do the lighter boys. I don't know, that's just how I work. You guys can do it how you want. And then I also like doing the edges of things first just because for me it like saves them. It's like, okay, once the edges are done, I can like scribble in a bit, I can fill it in, and then like I have some leeway if I mess up. Like if what is it, doing the edges like of something that I want to color in, it's like a catcher, so that if I'm like scribbling and I kind of get into that area, one, I see where I need to stop, but then I also like if my marker kind of can go up right to that line or area and be like, okay, it does have something to catch it if I do get close. For example, Sharpies on certain papers like to bleed, and so doing the edges for them first means that when I'm drawing next, coloring in next to the edges and they bleed, they just bleed into its own color. And it's not bleeding out into the area. As much. Because the thicker ones are the ones that bleed, the thin, fine tips don't bleed as much. I've noticed. Y'all, my arm hurts. I don't know about you guys if you're doing this. Mine hurts. But we're almost there. Almost done. Almost free. The more I look at these leaves, because like on here they look like leaves, like it's meant to be like a leaf, but my brain's like, ooh, it's a strawberry. Like that's what my brain is telling me this looks like. And it might be the dots that's kind of doing it, but I'm just seeing a strawberry. See, this one definitely looks like a strawberry because of the green top and all the seeds. That's where my brain's at. Strawberries. One thing I do like about brush tip pens is that like I can do so many, because like if you get a normal Sharpie tip, it's kind of like this kind of tip, or a normal marker tip, a lot of what you get is you can't do a lot of variety in the way you draw or like color, doodle, whatever, because it's like you just have that one tip. And if like with most Sharpies, like if you overuse them, the tip goes nice and flat and it gets chunky, and like it's nothing wrong, because then I have like because with like a fine tip, yes, you can like, it's great for doing detail, but then once it gets chunky, it can't do detail, but it can also color in more spaces. And fine tips can't color in as a lot of spaces easier. I have some Sharpie colors that I only have the nice fine point tip for, and it's kind of annoying because I'm like, oh, I want to use this to color in this area, but I don't have as much of this marker. And I'm like, dang, sad. Sad. So I do like brush pens because they can act both as a fine tip and like something that colors in a big area very quickly. So I love that. And then like even if like the tip, like, yes, with time the tip can also get like a little flat and stuff, but I also like brush pens because they're great for doing edges. I feel like like if you get used to using brush pens, edges become so much easier. I don't know, and they're also fun. I like doing like, because it makes me feel like I'm painting, because I'm not good at painting, and I'm like, ooh, look at me paint with my brush tip markers. And then you can like make even strokes that look nice, because you know some markers like to leave marks of like, they leave patterns of how you colored in something. And like with brush pens, you're like, I can make nice patterns because the tip is really nice, and I can color in this area really cute. And I can get my small areas. Okay, let's do this. I'm just gonna outline these edges. Look at my brush tip go. 10 out of 10. And then we're gonna just color down. And these also kind of look like apples. Like that looks like a weirdly green apple for me. It's a strawberry, it's an apple, maybe I'm hungry. We'll get into food later. Food may or may not be involved in today's journaling prompt. And then after stream, because I looked at these and they look like fruit, and then the journaling prompt is involved with food, I will probably eat food. Okay. So, this is my card. It's kind of pink lemonade feel. It gives me summer vibes at least. I like these stripes a lot better. Okay, so, next. This is all we're going to be doing for today's card. And the way it did not bleed through, because I didn't use my Sharpies. Other ways you could go like the extra mile with this type of card is there's a lot of quilting patterns, and what they'll do is they'll have they'll either have plain fabric or they'll have fabric with a design on it. So like with your squares, you could go in with a marker that has maybe the next shade of pink or the color you're using, and go add some lines to give it some nice texture or some pattern to it. You can faintly see them on stream, or some dots, just to kind of give your quilt a little more texture, a little more style. I don't know if you want to make it more kind of so you picked out a random yellow fabric to use on the page. So that's something you could do. You could use these two areas as ways to create titles and just be oh, write thank you to, from, hello, whatever you want to say, happy birthday, congratulations, all that jazz. So you could do that however you want with these quilting patterns. They could kind of be oriented either way that you want. If you didn't want to put these leaves on exactly like this, you could also just either cut out a washi tape, or cut out washi tape, a plain one, looking one, put a sticker on, get some white paper, cut out a border, and just plop it right on here, and then write on it and stuff, and kind of make it nice and flat. You could get stickers, not the clear kind, but ones that have little white borders, and also pop them on here. And that could be a cute way to add some decorations to your quilt. And then for the rest of the card, you don't need to decorate the back. It's a little overzealous, and most card backs aren't decorated. On the inside, you'll write what you want. If it did bleed through, what you could do is you could put you can get a mini envelope or a small piece of paper and create a pocket right here and maybe put stuff. I sent a pen pal card to my friend, and what I did for her is it bled through a lot, so I put a little envelope here and I put in some stickers in the envelope that I wanted to send her, because then it kind of hides the fact that it bled through and that type of thing. And then I wrote on this side. Also, if you do a color palette on the front, just because I'm crazy, I like to keep with the color palette on the inside. You don't have to. And other ways to decorate cards is using washi tapes as borders. I really like using washi tapes when doing my cards and stickers. Make them fun. Because when you get a card, you want to have them be fun. So yeah. Let's hop into chatting mode real quick, because it's the best time of stream. It's my favorite time of stream. Favorite time of year? No, it's favorite time of stream. It is journaling time. So, as I mentioned, if you cannot tell by how many times I mentioned food is involved in today's journaling prompt. Go in that corner. Nope, this is. So, what does that mean for journaling today? It means that today's prompt is talking about your favorite foods. So today's journaling prompt is, what is your favorite foods? What are? That's the correct way. What are your favorite foods? Pop that in chat. What else I got for you is the document that has all the journaling prompts we've ever done on stream. So if you don't like today's, you can do a different one. It also tells you all my social media, so you guys can find me on Instagram and YouTube, and it also has my Twitch there again, just in case. And then don't forget that there won't be a stream this Saturday because I'll be at my in-laws' wedding and can't make it. So I'm sorry about that. I hope today's stream kind of makes up for the two that I've missed, but I promise I'll be back on my game the week after and all that jazz. So yes, let's get into the journaling stuff. Got my journal. I do want to do a cute little flip through for you guys to show you what I've kind of done in August so far. Because I did kind of be like, I told myself, hey, I'm going to try and journal every day in August, so we're going to kind of go through with that. And I want to show you guys. So this was from the 2nd. This also lovely cute border came from the Buzz Lightyear stuff. I post on Instagram this Buzz Lightyear border, sticker border for a TBR. So that's where that came from. So that's the 2nd. Here's the 3rd. I haven't done many prompts in my journal. I've just kind of been throwing stuff in. 4th, 5th, I just kind of doodled. 6th, 7th, I've been kind of consistent. Hello. 8th, these ones are also kind of doodles. I got these like Patones, and look, here's my pink lemonade vibes again. That's all I'm here for, pink lemonade. And that's kind of like a redraw of one of the covers of an Archer and Olive notebook. This is just a star one. I drew a little soot sprite again and put a bunch of stars around him because he likes his candy. And then this is kind of where I skipped a days and kind of got lazy. 11th, 14th, and 16th. 16th was kind of back on track. That was yesterday. So, today, what am I going to use? I got my pen, and I got my stickers, and this dual tip highlighter. I'm going to kind of do today's spread differently with my journaling prompt, since it's what are your favorite foods. I'm going to just kind of go through these stickers and put all my favorite foods and label them on the page to kind of put that in there. So I'll talk to you guys in like 10-ish minutes. I'm done. If you guys are still journaling, keep going. And I'm just going to talk about my spread here and wrap up stream. So, with my dual tip, if you noticed while I was doing it, I kept having to flip it so I could write with the other marker. It's kind of difficult, but I wrote, what are your favorite foods, the date, and I did a nice line with both tips across the top. And then I went through, so I got this Happy Planners sticker pack that was just food themed, so I got that. And then some of them also have some food stickers. So I filled this page up. I went through all of the stickers, and I filled it up with all the foods that I liked. They're not all the foods I currently like, but they're most of them. And I kind of wanted to use this page more as a timekeeper of like, this is where I'm at as a person right now. It's 2022, and these are the foods I'm eating. And I kind of like it because when I was younger, I was a major picky eater. A lot of these foods on here probably wouldn't be on here if my like 5-year-old or like 6 or 7-year-old self did this, or even my 12-year-old self. Probably wouldn't have all this food on here. Probably just have half as much. So I do want to say that, and it's a good timekeeper for me. And then in the future, I could even recreate it and kind of see, oh, how did I grow or change? What foods are still on this list and what aren't, and that type of thing. So with all these foods, I did kind of make little notes on them. Like, this is an alcohol glass, but I put cider next to it. I mentioned that's banana cream pie. I said I like all potato products. I said this is Mountain Dew because that's my favorite soda. This is a bowl of cereal, so I said Fruity Pebbles because that's my favorite. With the macarons, my aunt has a macaron business, so I put her business's name next to that one. For this one, it just kind of represented all the Asian food I like, so I mentioned orange chicken and ramen. I like Caesar salad, I specified that. The mac and cheese I like is the one that I make with the cauliflower cheese sauce. I said that I like my eggs scrambled and my bacon crispy. I love broccoli in my mac and cheese as well. I said that's hot cocoa. For this one, when I was younger, it's funny story time, I would take a block of cheese right out of the fridge and just start gnawing on it because I love cheese. So I put cheese on here because I still like cheese, but not like that. I said I like my hamburgers plain. I just kind of put little notes so that like it does also not just my favorite foods, but like specifically why I like these foods or what I put them with and that type of thing. So, and I also put the farmer's market because I like going there for fresh fruits and veggies. So yeah, that's what I did. I hope you guys liked that one. And maybe I'll do more like this in the future because I really do like how that turned out. Final announcements for the day. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Watch the rest of my streams on YouTube if you've missed one, want to watch them again, that type of thing. I should have a link on my account here to my YouTube channel. Don't forget there's no stream this Saturday either. I will also post that on Instagram and that type of thing. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys had fun with me on today's stream, and I will see you not this week, but on the 27th for my usual stream. Bye!